so we can get a decent spot on these tanks when they come in. Ruby, in the meantime, saw those wraiths with his barracks, saw them en route. He's building an armory. Really, this is a mistake by Ruby. He just needs to ignore that secondary. He needs to push up and make sure that armory does not go up. He can totally ignore that secondary. He can have free reign in Never's base if he keeps that armory down. If he keeps an engineering variant armory and an academy down, he's got to keep those SCVs from building tech. In the meantime, Never's got siege tech up. He's shelling the front, doing a wise decision here, turning to the machine shop. He's going to make sure that extra tanks and siege tech isn't going to be done on Ruby's part. Ruby, in the meantime, very close to losing that machine shop. He's repairing his tanks, coming up, trying to save that machine shop, just trying to desperately, almost down. It's going to be razor thin there. He did manage to save it with repairing it with those 4 SCVs. He's going to get siege tech up. Now the question is he going to have siege tech before his front falls? That supply depot goes down. He gets siege tech just in time to keep his front safe. In the meantime, that armory is up, so he's going to have Goliath on his race, not doing a very good job of microing and keeping that armory or other tech to keep those wraiths safe down. In the meantime, an academy going up right under his nose. He isn't killing that SCV, so Cloak, even if he does get Cloak off, it's not going to be very effective. Losing one Wraith carelessly to those 2 Goliaths, too distracted in his main. He does manage to Cloak the second Wraith, but that's not going to last terribly long because you're going to have Comsat from not just the main of Never in a moment, but also from the secondary. He's, again, totally ignoring that academy, not doing a very good job microing that Wraith, not attacking those Goliaths to bring those down in the meantime. Of course, Never would be smart. He could just guide them out, and he's building more Goliaths to counter these Wraiths. 2 more Wraiths coming up from Never. He's going to try to use his group, although I wouldn't consider this very wise because he does have a significant Goliath force out. 2 is easily enough to take out 3 Wraiths and Comsat soon, so he's going to have to do kind of the back and forth pull from the Comsat. In the meantime, Wraiths attacking the secondary. He's doing a good job of splitting those Wraiths up, though, so a single Comsat won't take out the Wraiths. He's pulling that initial Wraith out of the Never's initial. So right now, this is kind of a dangerous situation for Ruby. Ruby has 3 Wraiths, but 1 Comsat with those Goliaths will take at least one of them out. Yeah, it looks like he doesn't manage to take one out, but it's barely one more hit and it's done. He's going to move back into the main of Never. Never, in the meantime, has a significant force that's bearing down on Ruby's base. He's trying to take out as many SCVs as he can to limit the production of Never, but it's not going to do that much with that secondary out. He loses a Wraith, not carelessly, but definitely not the best Wraith movement. He could have kept it. In the meantime, one of the Wraith runs out of energy. He's going to have to pull it back. Barrack spotting for 2 tanks by Never into Ruby's base over that ridge, just pounding that command center. Ruby is in very much big trouble here. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of energy with these Wraiths. In the meantime, he's just doing his best to pick off tanks while he can. He uses the last bit of Cloak there to try to pull him past those 2 Goliaths. Takes 2 hits on the Wraith. I think he all 3 Wraiths not terribly healthy. He does have 1 Wraith at full health. Looks like 1 Wraith has totally run out of energy now. He can use those Wraiths if he keeps them back to spot for the tanks and keep Never's forces back, but I'm not sure how long he's going to be successful doing that. Doing a good job of taking that barrack in the meantime, but carelessly keeping one of the Wraiths out, loses 1 Wraith, loses a second Wraith. In the meantime, tanks going down, a spot by Never has enough range. You can see those tanks taking 2 tanks down. Ruby does manage to take a single Goliath out, but just kind of bad macro, or bad micro, I should say there. Loses 3 tanks to a single Goliath of Never. He's in a bad position. He can't afford to lose units. In the meantime, Never rebuilding that barracks. As soon as he does, we can expect 2 more factories on his side. He's got a vastly superior production, even though he's lost several SCVs. To Ruby, it's not enough to stop his production. In the meantime, Vulture's coming down, taking out 2 tanks with the spot, taking out SCVs coming up, trying to repair that tank, trying to kill that Vulture, so he gets that spot out of his base, finally gets that spot out of his base, but he's down to one lonely tank. In the meantime, Never is pulling forces down. Looks like Ruby's going to commit more Wraith forces, going to try to stop the attack that's happening at his front with those Wraiths, which again is not very well advised considering the Goliaths that are out there. Ruby doing a good job catching those tanks with their pants down on siege, moving out of position. But another attack coming from the side by Never. Never has a Cloaked Wraith in position, but a Comsat could easily take that down. He's lost all his tanks now. All is defending his base are SCVs, a single Wraith that scan right there, manages to take that last Wraith down. In the meantime, Ruby's going to have to pull back. loses secondary. He's just sacrificing, needlessly sacrificing some of his SCVs to the front, trying to use them as a spot, but not really necessary with that command center there, and with that tank in the background. Those Goliaths might be able to take that command center out if he lifts it off. Lifting off, taking damage now. It's going to be very close. This is a really bad situation for Ruby. Ruby down in production, down in res production. All he has is a slight tech advantage with those Wraiths, but again, Wraiths just don't do a ton of damage. They're not going to be able to stop this incoming attack. In the meantime, a starport going up for Never. Never immediately going for a control tower, so we can expect dropships from him sometime in the very near future. My guess is he's going to want to get those 2 factories out first, just so he can gather a significant force and just dagger drop, just absolutely leave that thunderous pounding blow on Ruby's base. In the meantime, Never just being content to box Ruby in. Ruby just in dire straits, has nothing really. He's still producing out of a single factory. He floated that command center out, but it's going to be a while before that's at full production. In the meantime, the factory's almost out for Never. He's got a dropship building right now. Ruby just absolutely dire straits. I appreciate that he's not GGing here, even though he's in a bad position. It looks like he did get that second factory up, but with those mines, with those Goliaths, with those tanks in place, really picking a single tank off with a single Wraith that doesn't have a ton of cloak left isn't going to be extremely successful, especially with 2 comsat centers with a decent amount of charge. He's going to pull this Goliath up, attack. Let's see. I don't even think, he's not going to bother committing a comset just yet. He's going to lose 1 tank, but with those other 3 tanks and those spider mines in place, he really doesn't mind. Looks like, that dropship, I would expect 1 dropship out already, probably another dropship on its way. In the meantime, still floating barracks in the upper right-hand corner. I think that Ruby's kind of forgotten about it. He isn't going to bring, I don't think he's going to bring that down to spot. He's pulling out of that secondary again with another command center, using that Wraith to try to kill that barrack to make sure that it can't spot his sieged tanks. I mean, right now there's kind of an interesting, different, advantageous view spotting here. You've got the command center spotting for Ruby and the barrack spotting for Never. That Goth is going to die because of that spot by the command center and that siege tank in place. That Wraith, not very good at spotting right now because, again, Goliaths are in place. 3rd expansion by Never. Ruby in bad shape here. It looks like he has decent production going out of that 2nd expansion right now. Looks like he has a dropship of his own, but he's not going to be able to contend with the unit production and the dominant economical advantage of Never at this point. He's still sealed in his base. He's got that single Wraith again picking at his forces, but really he's not in a position to attack. He's locked in his base, loses that Wraith again carelessly to Goliath, didn't pull it back, didn't cloak it, and really what is he focusing on at this point? The only thing is his front base. In the meantime, drop going down by Never finally. That's going to end it. GG. Very interesting match between these 2 guys. Once again, audio commentary by Diggity. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I appreciate all your guys' commentary. Hope you, again, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing. Also check out Moletrap, and definitely kind of the father of this commenting sport of Korean pro StarCraft gaming, Klazart. Talk to you guys later. Bye.